Hello, hello, hello. It's 5 o'clock New York time, and that means it's time for Radio Free Wall Street. And today's show, we want to talk about something that'll be near and dear to your heart, your money. And we have got the political narrative meeting the economic reality. And the problem is that we also have the most incredible spin campaign we've ever seen. It's settled business. S&P reports that the corporations are not putting in new plants and equipment, not giving raises to their employees. What are they doing with the $1 trillion they're bringing back? That's $1 trillion that you got to pay for the taxes, by the way. That's $1 trillion that Uncle Sucker gave up to him and said, hey, if you want, take your money and please be the good boys and give bonuses and create jobs, 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 tax, 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 jobs, jobs, jobs. And they said, sure. Hey, President Trump, whatever you say, just bring us the money, buddy. And they got the money. They said, screw you, Blondie. Of course, they didn't say it. They just did it. And what did they do? Well, the first thing they did was they bought back huge amounts of shares of their stocks. And that meant the stock options the insider boys had paid them big money. And then to make sure that they got the bonuses, they paid back all kinds of money in dividends. Yay! Did they build any new factories? Well, no. Did they bring back the jobs from the slave colonies in Mexico? No, let's not get carried away here. Let's not be silly. Okay, what did they do? They feathered their own nest, and they did nothing for the economy. So in essence, you, did I mention you? Your children, your grandchildren will be paying for the gift to the corporation giants. Really that simple. And that means that the Laffer effect, that's so ridiculous. And in fact, if it wasn't so funny, you'd be crying. It's so stupid. Oh, wait, we're going to give the biggest and nastiest corporation rip-off artists in the world that have done nothing but slash jobs and have mechanized their factories to eliminate people. They've got two scales of jobs, the benefit ones and the non-benefit ones. Phasing out the older workers, bringing in the new ones that'll settle for that nothing shit. And we're going to give them trillions of dollars and say, you know what? Do the right thing. They go, yeah, baby, we'll do the right thing. No problem for us. So the linchpin, the very survival of the Trump administration, besides making coal again, great again, and steel great again, and aluminum great again. Oh, yeah, and factory repetitive work and assembly lines great again. Was that this tax plan was going to stimulate the economy after 10 years of stimulation. And I was skeptical and said it was bullshit from the start, and giving tax break bonanza to billionaires doesn't do it. And how many little old ladies you got up there crying, go, Donald, thank you for my $100 a year in tax savings. Okay, anybody that's got to run a family, pay tuition, have a house, pay a mortgage, run a job in a business knows that shit ain't cutting nothing. So what's happened is we've like I said, we've met the political has met the economic reality, and the reality is shit ain't working. We are not creating jobs. We are not seeing consumers have more disposable income to spend on cars and houses and America great again. And businesses are not investing in bringing back jobs from over there. They're taking jobs from over here to over there. And reality is that means that we got a big ship because we also greatly increase the deficit. It's going to be over $1.3 trillion. And we also increase the national debt to the tune of $2 trillion. And to prove it, the Treasury of the United States, as a direct result of huge government spending, as a direct result of lower tax revenue from corporations, as a direct result of the biggest screw-up ever, is now offering for sale and financing the most money in the history of the United States Treasury. Let me see if you can connect the dots with this. This laughing curve bullshit was supposed to create jobs. It was supposed to pay bonuses. It was supposed to increase corporate taxes and individual taxes because people would be making more money. They'd be spending more money, buying more cars, buying more houses, and you know the shit, shopping at the malls. Well, it was a nice try. And what happened is, didn't happen. Yeah, that's it. What happened is, it didn't happen. No cookie, no cigar, no brass ring. Go ahead and bend over and kiss your ass goodbye because we're headed for a depression. Pretty simple, okay? basically what you did was you greatly increased government spending. At the exact same time, you greatly reduced government revenue. And the theory was that if you did this, then what would happen would be people would have more money to spend. And I heard that until, I had blue smoke coming out of my ass. It was just ridiculous. Okay? Yeah, that was the leftover chunks of blue sky they blew up there. And all of a sudden, it's like it didn't happen. It has not happened. It's not going to happen. We are not creating a bunch of high-paying new jobs. We are not paying present job holders in America more money. We are not paying bonuses. We are not opening factories, and we are not bringing back jobs from the slave labor colonies of Mexico, China, India, and let's throw in there Vietnam, to name a few. It's just not happening. What is happening is the budget deficits are the highest they've ever been. What is happening is we've added $2 trillion to national debt. What is happening is because of the lack of revenue, Treasury is auctioning off the most in government debt ever in the history of the country. Okay? That's reality. Now, I understand that we've got a president that is great at blowing bullshit, and I know we have the cheerleaders among the Democrats that hate him, and I know we have the cheerleaders among the Republicans that everything he does is great, and I am hearing so many of them, oh, well, his tax break's really doing good. Have you seen the new jobs? Oh, my God, the prosperity in my district? It's all bullshit. It's not happening. It's nice to say that, okay? And I guess for a lot of people, I guess if you got a guy at a coal mine, I don't believe any bullshit you want to tell him. Give him a free cup of coffee in his thermos that he can sip down there in the coal dust, okay? I guess so. But the people I hang around got a little more brains than that going, this ain't happening. Retail sales are not going up. Car sales are plunging. People don't have money to buy houses. People do not have disposable income. And the consumer is dead in the water, as proven by the GDP report. And as proven by report after report we're getting that goes, you can blow all the bullshit, and you can fool a lot of the simple people. That's late at the school of the Ozark. I'm sure the greatest day of her life is when Donald Trump, gave her a signed autograph and she got to talk to the president. And I'm sure that simpleton at that factory that, well, maybe I'll get a wife here on the $400 a year savings, I can buy a nicer house, okay? Maybe that worked for him. However, people I know that have to have businesses, meet payroll, expand their businesses, grow it, pay taxes, okay? This shit ain't working. For the serious people that live a serious life, doing serious things, where they live in New Jersey where a common, 3-bedroom house with not necessarily a modern kitchen or bathrooms over $1 million, and where the taxes are $25,000, $30,000 a year, they ain't cutting it, okay? So the doctors and the lawyers and the accountants and the CPAs, the educated people who are basically the working middle class of America are slowly drowning in bullshit. The taxes, collections among money collected from individuals in America is the highest ever. It has skyrocketed under the tax break bonanza for billionaires. Money collected from corporations has plunged. Net result, less money created. Not more, not laugher, not Kudlow bullshit, not more factories, not more jobs, not more business. Reality is what has always happened is the tax break bonanza for billionaires has lined their pockets with more money. It has made them wealthier. They are not investing in the U.S. economy. They are not paying people higher wages. They are not paying bonuses. And it was all bullshit. And it is because there is no thing to invest in that gets you a return. Okay, interest rates are skyrocketing. We should hear from the Fed 2 o'clock tomorrow about another sad story. And with every little tick-tock, higher and higher interest rates, that means the consumer goes deeper in the hole. That means that he has less money. That means his credit card debt, and he's got a ton of it, is getting more expensive to finance. That means his mortgages, and most of these guys are in short-term rollover because they couldn't qualify for the 30-year super discount rate because their credit scores weren't high enough. It means that when they roll over, they pay more money. Now, I don't want to begin to talk about, but I will, the corporations that are the second-tier people that are junk bond, Michael Milken, piece of shit crap represented as an investment, retirees, income salvation. Those guys have not made money in their businesses, and they are not going to make money in their businesses. And you have trillions of dollars in small business, medium-sized business debt in the bond market rolling over. You have a huge amount of RITs, real estate investment trusts, that love Michael Milken discount junk bond shit debt to roll over. and the rate's going higher, which means that they're marginal to begin with, and now they got to pay even more to meet the interest rate obligation. And here's a little secret: they can't do it because the whole linchpin, the whole theory behind Trumponomics, besides Bob Amick bullshit and all kinds of outrageous proclamation, aren't we doing great? Yay, Mr. President, yay! And getting loser boozers and bringing them out, in their pickup trucks, and I have a pickup truck too, by the way, to go cheer Donald Trump and make America great again is really nice. And it's a TV show. Now, you need to understand you're watching TV. You're watching a reality TV show, and it's not real. It's make-believe. It's like Bill Cosby, America's dad. He wasn't America's dad. He was a mass rapist, okay? That's reality, but that's not what the TV show showed. And it's the same thing with Donald Trump. He is not a business genius. He's not a great negotiator. Every deal he's touched has turned to shit, okay? Kim Yum Numchucks is not going to give up his nukes, is not going to give up his rockets, is not going to stop oppressing his citizens. He's going to get a publicity stunt. He's going to do the blow and go. He is going to get the time. Donald Trump's going to get the headline of the Nobel Peace Prize, the Plastic Explosive Prize, and America's going to end up with another nuclear power, North Korea, which will raise its ugly head in time as it lets the heat die down. Ditto for, believe it or not, Iran. Even though we had the nice picture-perfect demonstration with a PowerPoint presentation from the Prime Minister of Israel, reality is everybody knew this shit. It's not a surprise to no one. And they want to put the deal ahead again anyway. Because let me tell you a little secret. World powers know that when countries want to get nukes, you can't stop them. Israel has nukes, and they weren't authorized to get them. Pakistan has nukes, weren't supposed to get them. Iran has nukes, they weren't supposed to get them. May I mention the fact that, Kim Yum Numchucks has nukes? In fact, his nukes were so big, he blew a mountain apart. Oh, yeah, really. Blew away a mountain. Kind of cool. I like it. So the reality is that once they get the nukes, you can't take it away from them. Why? Because when you go to get them, they pop them off. So every despot, 3-bit religious fanatic, homicidal maniac torturer of his citizens knows the secret is you get the nukes, don't let them go, you negotiate any bullshit the idiots want, and you keep your nukes, and nobody screws with you. Give up your nukes like Gaddafi, and your history. Give up your nukes like Yugoslavia, and Russia starts slicing and dicing your ass. Do you really think that if they had the Ukraine had their nukes, that the Crimea Peninsula would be taken from them? Absolutely not. Okay. Do you actually think that Gaddafi, the lackey over there in Libya, would be gone right now if he had kept his nukes and had them working? Absolutely not. He'd be there. And do you think really the Ayatollahs are going to give up their nukes and they're not going to go ahead and lose it? I mean, you have Russia there guaranteeing it. They're actually Russia is putting in their advanced radar missile system to protect those very nukes. So don't kid yourself. This is all about the headline. It's not the art of the deal. It should have been the art of bullshit. Okay? The problem with bullshit is that is bullshit. It's not gold bars when you try to make it. It's not a renaissance in the U.S. economy making it great again. It's not jobs, tax, no tax, jobs. That's all slogans. That's all hype. That's all bullshit. And the stock market, well, the stock market is not continuing to climb. We don't hear anyone in the administration mentioning a word about the stock market. It's had 1,000-point day drops. It can't get out of the way of itself. It is entering a bear market. And there's another little thing you should know. Reality is that the Fed fund rate is going to 3% by the end of this year. It'll be 3.25%, 3.5% next year, maybe even 4% next year being 2019. We have no growth in the economy, okay, or very slow growth. We don't have enough growth to make up for the tax decreases, the tax bonanza. We don't have enough growth to make an economy that is vibrant. And we are going to go ahead and get slow growth. And then from slow growth, we're going to go to no growth. And here's the punchline. From that, we're going to go into negative growth, called a recession. Donald Trump has no plans to stop that from happening. The Democrats have got no plans to stop that from happening. And that means we're going into the funk. We are going into where the political reality meets the economic promise. And that is a recession. And that means we're going to go lower and lower and lower, and slower and slower and slower. And we're going to have the wipeout in the economy. We're going to have the plunge in the markets. We're going to have the real estate collapse. I mean, you guys know the tune, right? We've been here before. It's not a new venture. It's not something we haven't seen before over and over again. It's part of how our system works. So buckle your seatbelts, put on your crash helmet, and pray that the fire extinguisher works and the engine fire doesn't burn you when you hit the wall. Because you're in a race car, traveling 200 miles an hour, headed for the wall at the Brickyard. It's that simple. There is no escape. There is no plan B. There is no alternative. There is no help on the way. There is no America Great Again. That's all slogan bullshit at rallies of people who are not necessarily the most equipped people in the world. And this is going to end up in a crisis that is absolutely positively going to bring down the economy. It's going to put you in a recession. It's going to wipe out the middle class again. And you just need to accept the reality that this is where we're at. So there is no way out of this. There's no pause that refreshes. There is no business plan, art of the deal, trade sanctions, sugar candy mountains, Santa Claus. There is no solution to this. Now, once you wake up and smell the coffee and realize that we're headed for a wipeout, once you realize the economy is crashing, once you realize this is disaster de jour, then it all makes sense. Okay, you understand why the GDP was only at 2.3%. We're supposed to have 3.4 for the slow first quarter, and then the second quarter is going to go 3.68, and as Donald Trump said, third and fourth quarter will be over 4%. Not happening. And that is why instead of tax revenue increasing, which is what Kudlow told you on the base of the Laffer curve, we are running the biggest deficits ever. The Treasury is financing the most amount of debt ever, and businesses are not investing in America. They're not making America great again. They're not helping the first responders. They are not thanking the military guys for their services and their blown up legs. Okay? That's all blow and go bullshit. They don't care. What they are doing is getting a huge tax break to bring jobs outside the United States. What they are doing is getting free repatriation of profits when they bring their factories outside the United States. What they are getting is a disaster that is growing and growing and growing and growing. Now, once you wrap your head around this, then forget like Donald Trump, maybe you get invited to his little Michigan rally, he's going to have a lot of them, or Indiana. Forget this bullshit about making America great again. Forget this thing about the little school teacher. I saved $1.50 a week, Donald. And don't forget the cafeteria worker at the School of the Ozarks. I paid $145 a year, okay? Because these people don't count. These people don't create jobs. These people don't innovate. These people are not the small businesses that employ 90% of the population of America, okay? The people who are at the switch, the people who are doing your MRI scans, the people who are doing the engineering, the people who are bringing you the future, they're getting further behind, okay? The highly educated, sophisticated, highly trained lawyers and doctors of the middle class are on a sinking ship. The opioid guy at the factory, he's doing real well. And the French fry shaker girl, she's doing fine. But unfortunately, as nice as these people may be, they're not the ones that are going to decide the destiny of America. They're not the ones who are creating the jobs. They're not the ones that are going to bring you the new smartphone. They aren't the ones that are going to bring you the fifth generation of 3G. Okay? They are not the ones that are going to bring you 3D video. They're not the ones that are going to bring you all these wonderful things, okay? That's going to come from the engineers, the doctors, the scientists, the great middle class, okay? Not the drunk all-day billionaires on their yachts, not those Arabs in their robes with their harems, okay? The working people, the creators. And we just slit their throat. We just kicked them in the balls. We just shot out their kneecaps. We just destroyed their ability to even afford a house in the San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, New Jersey, central part of the country where the vast innovations come from, okay? And that's a reality, okay? And you're right, a lot of good things happen in Iowa, but that bushel of corn is not making America great again. And that soybean farm, well, we're going to feed the world. Well, that's okay. Argentina will do the job, and so will Brazil cheaper. Okay? Where our growth is, where our hope is in robotics, artificial intelligence, in the integration of all of these dynamics and all these visual concepts, okay? This is where the future is, communication systems. And we are killing the people who are bringing this. We are stifling the innovation. We are removing the incentive. And you know what? Reality shows it, because they aren't buying cars. They aren't buying houses. They are not forming families. They are not investing. And they're not paying taxes. Okay, so this great idea of tax break bonanza for billionaires was going to bring a new renaissance is not happening. Are you hearing me? It was all bumper sticker bullshit. And bumper sticker bullshit's nice, and those rallies jumping up and down, and first responders, let me show you the great firemen of the Ohio Department. I think they're great. I really do. Okay? And I love, and I want to thank you for your military service. I really appreciate it. Really, I do. But that's nice. And that's kind of like patting them on the ass and then sending them home broke to die, okay? And announcing how Veterans Affairs are changing the equation is nice, but it's not. And announcing how your doctor, Mr. Happy Pill Maker guy, is going to be the ideal guy for the job is nothing than rewarding him because he made sure you pass the test to show you're not turning retarded. And reality is that having a meeting with Kim Yumchucks, which is nothing more but a photo opportunity, which is nothing but a bid for the Peace Prize so you can parade it on the stage at that Iowa, Illinois, Ohio convention that you're going to run, is nice. But he's still going to have nukes. And he's still a threat to mankind. And he's still committing genocide. And to say you're going to get tough with Iran is nice. And to show the picture of how they're building a bomb that everyone's known about for years is nice too. But the reality is that the Europeans don't give a shit. Okay? The Europeans don't care. The Europeans are dying in their economy, and they can't afford sanctions. And they're running down there doing deals with the Arabs and doing deals with the Iranians and doing deals with anyone because you know what? Europe's in trouble. So when you accept this reality, understand that all this is nice, and all this, quarterbacking after the game's over with is really smart and sounds really good, but it doesn't work. So the reality we've got is that the Fed is raising rates, the economy is going into recession. Donald Trump's budget buster bill that was passed without much thought is a disaster. It doesn't fund things that need to be funded. And Obamacare is still the law of the land. It hasn't been repealed or replaced. And 10 million illegal immigrants are still in America. And Russians are still colluding to bring down our economy, our society, our internet, our political system. And reality is that we're headed for recession because the Fed is raising rates. And businesses are going to drop dead like flies. And the bubble they created in the stock market's going to crash. The bubble they created in real estate is going to wipe out. We are headed for a recession, which is part of the economic cycle in Make America Great Again. That's how the capitalist system works, okay? Ask Donald Trump about bankruptcies and business failures, and ask him about how the real estate business does in the recessions, okay? Now, to presuppose we're not having a recession is asinine, stupid, dumb, ignorant, and really a dumb thing to do. Believing that cutting taxes on corporations because without any compulsion, without any requirement, they're just going to pay bonuses to their employees, hire more people at higher wages, and put in factories and bring jobs back is dumb, stupid, ignorant, and a bunch of loaded shit that only an idiot would believe. And to believe that Donald Trump doesn't have serious problems with collusion, doesn't have serious problems with trying to stop the investigation, is asinine because you can hear what he said in his own words. And to believe that there's a free ride here and that this divisive figure is not going to be the heart of conflict and controversy is stupidness. And to believe that the Democrats and more people corrupt than him, corrupt Hillary, and you want to go crooked? Well, let's just start with the A's in the list of politicians that go to the Z's, and they're all crooked. They're all lying, thieving, scheming people paid for by lobbyists. That's the system we got. It's corruption is us. Okay, to believe that that's going to stop is ridiculous. To believe the Democrats are not going to bring up their hatred of Donald Trump for the elections is stupidness. To believe that this investigation is going to go bye-bye, he's going to walk away scot-free, doesn't look like it. So now let's talk about reality and about your money. Let's talk about your job your future and your pay. Okay, your real estate's going to crash. The stock market, if you're on the long side, is wipeout city. Okay, the bond market is telling you that the 10-year U.S. government treasury is the safest, securest, highest return investment out there. Grab some. Reality is that we're headed for a recession. And every single, you know what's incredible about a recession? Not one of them ever, in all my years in this business, 35 years now, not one of them did Wall Street ever admit was happening ahead of time. While we were in it, they never admitted. You know, it takes like a year or two after to go, yeah, we were in a recession, we're out of it now. Why? Because they want you in the game. They want your money. They want to screw you to the wall, tattoo you, and screw blue tattoo. Well, that's what they're doing, okay? And that's what they do. That's what Wall Street's built on, the blood of people who are wiped out. Another group of baby boomers, the suckers, are going to be harvested again. The junk bond funds are not going to pay off. We're going to have defaults that will more than offset the higher rate of interest and start eating on the principal. We got a stock market that already is in airbag deployment crash mode. You've got a president that is, to say the least, out of touch with reality. He wants much rather do these little shows where they cheer him on and do the slogans, of course, on cue, you know, no bell, no bell, no bell, okay? It's all part of the game. See, he's producing a TV show. He's producing a reality moment. He's producing his version of the truth. And this is a man that doesn't know truth. It hit him in the eye like a 2x4, in the back of the head like a 2x4. This is a man that is not up to speed to run the country. The White House is in disarray. Now, this is all facts. Now, if it's a deep estate or somebody put drugs in his McDonald's hamburgers, whatever is going on there is going on there. Whoever's fault it is, it is. Now, you're going to have to understand that there's a big odd shit happening. You got to understand that we are in deep and serious trouble. We are in a recession. Car sales are plunging. The economy is not growing. It's sucking shut. And the indicators are all sounding the warning. Now, it is incredible that you'll do a bumper sticker, a slogan, a populist, and lose everything. Trump's doctor of 30 years office was raided by his goons to take out the medical files, okay? I want you to think about a man that does that. His mouthpiece, his mob attorney, Mr. Fixer, leg breaker, and who knows what else, has got all his records, including Donald Trump's records, seized. Now, you don't think there's anything bad in there. Come on. Think about all your records and all your deals and all that. I mean, especially a man like Donald Trump. Manufacturing growth is slowing. Construction spending is into a bigger downturn than anyone imagined. And we've got a situation where Mueller's got questions that Donald Trump cannot answer. And we got a situation where Americans are spending less and borrowing their savings more. And the Federal Reserve is doing the deal to bring down the economy. So you need to understand that whatever the bullshit is, forget it. Whatever the political spin, forget it. You know, when you become a billionaire like the Koch brothers, well, then you can play this game and you'll have a voice. But to really believe your little voice means something is bullshit. That's campaign rhetoric. To really believe you're part of the equation is ridiculous. You're not a player. But now you have a chance to become one. And the only way you become a player is if you got lots of do-re-mi money. Okay? It's not an equal opportunity system, my friends. It's not a place for poor people. Okay? It's the game of the money people. Now, you need to wake up and smell the coffee and realize we're headed for an economic slowdown. You better realize that the Trump tax break bonanza was ridden by the lobbyists for the richest corporations in the world and not for you. You need to realize that it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's exasperating the budget deficits. It's throwing the economy into a recession. It's going to wipe out your real estate. It's going to crash the stock market. And that is all by design. That's not an accident. That's not going to, oh my, look, another hurricane coming and we can't stop hurricanes. Bullshit. This is a created, contrived event. The tax breaks were designed to take your money and give it to big corporations. The budget deficits were designed. Remember, Donald Trump said he's a king of debt? Did you hear his words? And maybe you ought to start listening to his bullshit. He said, I fired the FBI director to stop the FBI investigating my bad deeds. Okay? Stop the Russian investigation. Read the book. Look at the quotes. Listen to the man. Don't let Fox News do your thinking for you, or for that matter, CNN. we are in trouble. We have got some really nasty piece of works who are bringing down the economy. We have a whole lot of ugliness ahead of us, my friends, and I beg you, wake up and smell the coffee and look around you and see what's going on. This tax break bonanza bullshit, I don't know how anybody bought that crap, but it doesn't work. It's been tried over and over again. The budget deficits are out of control. The Treasury has its biggest auctions ever, financing the most debt ever. Does that not speak to you? Does 2.3% GDP growth when it's supposed to be, 3.4 mean something? Look at what you're seeing going on. This Kim Jong Nunchuck deal? He's not giving up his nukes. That's a publicity stunt. Oh, and the trade sanctions? Well, we're making steel great again. Well, where is the bonuses to the steel guys? Now we heard they've postponed the sanctions again. This is all about any bullshit that comes into your head that can get the heat off you're going to do. This is not about truth. This is about honesty. This is strictly about blow and go, the art of bullshit. Once you realize that, then you realize we're heading into disaster zone. Once you realize that you've been bullshitted by the bullshitter in chief, and that's that. Wait, no, by the way, he doesn't get the prize. He's not the only bullshitter in chief we have. We have a lot of them. Our system is now a beauty contest where the guy that gives you the best line of bullshit, makes the crowd curious the most, gets elected. It's not about truth. It's about soundbite. It's not about honesty. It's about whores. It's not about political access. It's about cronyism. When you put all the pieces together, you realize that, and you know what you do? You say, you know what? I'm not buying this bullshit anymore. I'm going to protect myself. Now remember, Wall Street, your broker, wants to tell you how this is a great opportunity to buy in the stock market. They always do. They always do. They always do. Donald Trump and Kudlow want to tell you how we're just a couple quarters away when the delayed action of the tax break is going to cut in and the economy is going to rip and roar ever upward. It's not. And they want you to believe that this is a Hillary deep state conspiracy to discredit a great president who's working day and night to bring peace and prosperity to the world. This guy don't give a shit about that. None of them do. None of them do. None of them do. This is about the biggest financial wipeout and depression ever. This is about a crisis that's already starting to unfold. This is about colossal mistakes in healthcare, colossal mistakes in immigration, colossal mistakes in military action in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, which remember we've abandoned, in Iraq, and in Syria. Okay, these are mistakes being compounded over and over again, getting bigger and bigger. And you know what? Well, let's talk straight. It's time for the empire to be through. We've had our run, we've had our turn to switch, and now we're screwing up. Okay, we've become wasteful bureaucracy. We are turning on our own citizens. We are criminalizing everything. We are failing every step of the way. And you got a guy like Donald Trump leading the Crown Fest. Now, as you realize that, now there's this other phase of this, and that means you can turn that into money. You can turn that into prosperity. You can turn that into your escape. You don't have to go down with the Titanic. Okay? In fact, better yet, rather than trying to fight for a lifeboat, you know the boat is doomed. Just don't even let it set sail without you. Okay? And that's where you're going here. So, I want to warn you that we're headed for a deep recession, that none of this bullshit you're hearing is working. The economy has no chance of a recovery. We're going through a recession. The Donald Trump tax plan is one of the biggest mistakes ever, as is his budget. And that's a reality you need to face. That's a reality you need to prepare for. And if you can bring yourself to do that, you become vastly wealthy. And if you're stupid enough to buy into the bullshit, you will wipe out like everybody else, and we've seen it over and over again.